Hi everyone. So I was just about to settle into a meditation practice that I enjoy doing. I do this a fair bit right now. And so this meditation is one I use when I'm feeling tension between myself and someone else. I do also use this for just the sake of using it, even if it's a relationship that I'm feeling very strong or very connected to. I use this practice as well, but today I'm going to use it in more of the framework of this is someone that I'm feeling at odds with, this is someone that I'm feeling attention towards, maybe this is someone that I'm having a hard time resolving differences with. So we're just going to move into an energetic space that helps us to remember that no matter what we're perceiving between us, no matter what grievances we're experiencing between ourselves and that other person, that's a tension. And the example I'd give is that there has, in any relationships, there's times when that relationship brings us this incredible sense of peace and connection. And then we might have another day where that same relationship brings us tension and difference. And it reminds us that it's the perspective of that experience in that moment, right? So what we're doing in this practice is we're trying to look past what the current tension is to find the space behind, okay? So again, before we start any practice, you want to get your grounding. I usually try to just sort of remind myself, sitting in the chair where you're comfortable, feet on the ground, setting my intention to be present in this moment with this meditation. The timing may be a little bit different than how I'd usually do it. Sometimes it's very quick, sometimes I take a lot of time if I have the time to do that. So I'm going to move through it at a pace that might not be exactly the right pace for you, but just more for, I'm going to do the meditation anyways because I was coming down to do it, but you may want to do a longer practice or a shorter practice, okay? So we're just going to start grounding in. I'm going to close my eyes, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring to mind someone that we're feeling attention towards, right? Someone that we're feeling maybe frustrated with. This doesn't have to be, that main person on your list that you're at odds with right now. It doesn't mean it can't be, but someone that maybe right now you just really would like to find a little bit more love between you and that person. And so once you get that person in mind, and I'm going to do the same because I'm going to walk through this practice at the same time, okay? Once you have that person in mind, I just want to remind you that their image is going to possibly, change and shift. They may seem close, they may seem at a distance, you may get partial images of them. It's okay. Whatever image you have, it's the intention of what we're doing here that's the most important piece. Let the image shift as much as it needs to without sort of focusing on not being able to hold an image. Let that part go. So we're going to bring that person to mind. So let me get this person to mind. And we're going to sort of bring their name to mind as well. Okay, if you have it. So that we really set our intention that right now we're going to do some bonding work with this person. Okay. And the reminder is, this isn't someone you even have to be in interaction with. Sorry, just to come back out again. This isn't someone you need to be in interaction with. This isn't even someone you need to know. Even if it's someone that you have a reaction to online, even if it's somebody at a distance, if it's someone that's creating tension in you, this practice is for both parties, but it's for that perspective in us, okay? So just a reminder, this isn't about phoning the person, or this is about an energetic practice of peacefulness in the body, okay? So bringing that person back to mind. Sorry for the long intro. Okay. And once we've got that person in mind, right, we sort of have them there in front of us, and we recognize that, even in seeing them, you might get that sense of the tension that's come up between you, or the frustration, or maybe the distance, right? And we're going to sort of acknowledge that, yep, here's what I'm feeling, here's some of the tensions that come to mind, right? And then what I want you to recognize is that these tensions, these grievances that are existing between us are perspective. So they're coming from a place of how I'm feeling about this person. And it's creating blocks between me and this person, and me being able to see the light that this person's standing in. So what I want you to do is just sort of observe this person and find light where it is shining through. Right? And for some of you, this might happen quickly. You might notice, this space of light in the heart center, for example. You might notice this space of light. Honestly, it could be in the left arm, right? And I want you to find that light that is shining through on that person. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring all of our attention to the light that we see. Again, it can be a tiny little dot or it could be a huge amount of space, okay? And again, what we want to recognize is that what we're here to do today is we're here to look past the blocks and the grievances and the perceptions that we're holding to really focus on the light that sits in behind the body, okay? That sits in behind what we're seeing physically or feeling emotionally. And as we find that light, and just take your time reminding that it's going to shift, it's going to come into vision, it's going to pop out of vision, but what we're trying to do is really find that space of light. Okay, and once you've got your sort of focus on that space, what I want you to imagine is that light now starting to grow and expand through the image of the person that you're looking at, okay? So that bright light could be white, it could be blue, it could be pink. Really want to observe that light starting to grow, right? And at this point, as it's growing, I sort of internally would say to myself, help me to let go of any grievances that I'm holding on to that are keeping me from seeing this person in the true light of which they stand, okay? So I'm going to ask for some guidance on how to do that. I'm going to ask for some support in letting those things go. And watch that light grow a little bit broader for that person. And light may start to show up in different parts of the body for them. Right, it might just start to expand from one point outwards, or it might just start to shine through in different areas. It's okay, exactly how is it folding, right? And as I'm watching that light grow between myself and the person that I'm holding in my mind, I might also ask for guidance to help to see past any differences, to help to see past any of the anguishes or any of the blocks that I put up between us or that have been placed between us. Really letting the light shine through, right? And recognizing that we're all light behind these perceptions that we're seeing. So what I'm asking is that the light in me starts to see past our differences to the light in this other person, okay? Okay, and as that light continues to expand, right? Really starting to hold them fully in that light. And as that light expands, right? And again, this process, take whatever time you need. As that light expands, what I imagine in my process, and again, you can send healing, you can send love, you can send light. At this point, what I, in this practice do is I work with Holy Spirit, work with healing light, work with connection, whatever that is for you. But I imagine Holy Spirit working through me to send love and light to the other person. So at this point, I extend an invitation for Holy Spirit to move through me and share light with this other person, okay? And really filling, let that light come through you, be a conduit, right? Let that love come through the light that you are, be a conduit. Sending the light to this other person, right? You can send compassion. You can send love. Right? You can recognize and have Holy Spirit share whatever that is that they most need in this moment. Right? And watching as it extends and expands and brightens that light even further. I'm recognizing that there's no intention to fix or change anything, right? We're recognizing the light that's already there, and we're offering more light to that space, okay? And then once that person is glowing, I'm going to explain that this was a tough process for me in some of these meditations. I want you to now imagine that this person is sending that same love that you've just offered them back to you. So in this moment, as I'm watching that person fully expanded, fully in light, I allow love to come from them. So I might say something like, I receive the extension of love and light that they offer to me, and I want you to imagine that light coming towards you, right? If it brings up tension in the body that this person might not be capable of that, or it brings up tension that you doubt whether they would offer that to you, I want you to let that go, right? Give yourself permission to recognize that we're dealing with the light in the space behind all those doubts, okay? So I want you to sit for a minute and let them share with you through their light that is shared. Love, healing, compassion. And if you're feeling resistant to let that in, which again, I get, I might say something like, Holy Spirit, please connect us in love. Please offer, I'm willing to receive the light and love that the Spirit has to offer me. Okay, and letting that light from them flow in. Okay. And as that starts to flow, what I want you to recognize in that light and in your own light is that we all come from the same shared consciousness, okay? So even though I feel like I'm one person here and I see you across from me and I feel like you're another person here, what I want you to do is I want you to take your perspective and I want you to draw back out. So I want you to envision yourself and this other person now sort of from a third party perspective. I want you both glowing light, okay? And I want you to take the perspective now of that shared consciousness. So I want you to recognize that you are part of the whole. So you are both. Okay, so step out of the body, move up to recognize that even though we feel different and even though we look different, we share this higher consciousness, we share this higher mind. And I want you to take the perspective of that higher mind. And I want you to see from that higher mind that both belong to the same space, okay? Holding them in light, both belong to the same light and the same source. And as we're sharing that light with the other, we're both receiving the light of that other, okay? And letting that light extend. Okay, letting that light extend around both. And then recognizing that that whole, that light that is both, now nourishes this higher mind that we're sitting and perceiving from. Okay, so those pathways are now nourishing this perspective that we're holding that recognizes we are that one consciousness. Okay. And seeing that light. And then at this point, what I'm watching is that light extending outwards, right? Enveloping all of the space. So that what I'm seeing is light and not bodies anymore. Okay? And again, just slowly giving ourselves permission to sort of slow down. Okay. Offering gratitude to ourselves for taking the time to extend this light to another. Offering gratitude to the other just for spending light back to us. Okay. And then slowly bringing your perspective back to your own body. And we're going to slowly open our eyes. Okay. Feels good. Feels good. And the reminder, like again, we sort of extended, but this sort of perspective, this recognition of connection, it brings awareness to a couple things. One, for me, I can only speak for myself, but the first couple times I worked through this practice, makes me teary even thinking about it, is how willing I was to send love, right? How open I was to show me how I can be someone who shares love, but how tense I felt in my body, how disbelieving I was in my body that someone could send it back to me, right? And I remember even in the practice when it mentioned doing that, I remember thinking, oh, they probably wouldn't. Or, oh, they'd never think to do this for me, right? And that's a perspective that we have to move past. Those are perspectives. Maybe it's true at the level of form, this person may not have engaged in behaviors that made you feel cared for or made you doubt whether they were able to care for you. But the point of this meditation is we want to move past form, right? We want to move past those blocks that keep us separate, right? In intention, in perspective, in understanding of our sameness, right? So we really want to move past that feeling of doubt and that protectiveness that keeps people out. And again, I'm talking at the level of intention. Please do not go into an environment that is unsafe for you in form, okay? Do not, it's not about the actual tangible interaction. It's about the intention of moving past those blocks, moving past those barriers, moving past being able to see them as light behind the space. Do not go near people that are harmful for you, okay? Don't, it doesn't have to happen in form. That peacefulness comes from observation. That peacefulness comes from being present with our own blocks that have guarded us, right? Because if it's guarding us in these environments, it's guarding us from people that we might actually want to be in presence with and in form with, okay? So again, I love this meditation. I often do it in the morning. I do it anytime that big tension comes up between myself and another person. I even do it when this wonderful feeling comes up between myself and the other person, because I really want to, again, honor that sameness, okay? And you can take 2 minutes to do it. You can really quickly sort of like go through this process. You could do little versions of the different steps that we move through, or take time, right? A relationship that you know holds blocks and grievances and barriers, right? It's about working through the illusions of what we're seeing, okay? So thank you for joining me today. There's a couple other meditations that I work with all the time that I'll likely post in a couple days, but so much love to all of you. Thank you.